Security personnel in the city deployed to enhance the curfew of 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. had a tough time last night in dealing with hundreds of city dwellers who failed to beat the deadline of the curfew. Hundreds of city dwellers were intercepted at the busy Wandegate roundabout. Most of the citizens had varied reasons as to why they failed to make it to their homes on time.
So have you delivered the litter?
Yes, yeah. But okay, they just told us to be there and wait for. No. We have the letter. We have the letter from the RCC.
For all of you? So RCC is the one who has maintained you up to this time?
Okay, for me I was helping them because they cannot
RCC is the one who has maintained you up to this time?
They allow you to move.
Yes, she was still.
The letter is for all of you or is for...
It's for the patient. Where is the patient supposed to go? The patient is supposed to go to that woman.
After listening to their explanations, the police cautioned them against moving at night and set them free.
Look at it. Wait, let one remain in the back instead of going. Again. Come back.
Oh, ina wakusula watu ina tukuwe. Wakusula.
Truck drivers and delivery vans were also stopped at the roadblock. Their occupants cautioned and then released.
You are supposed to supply, okay? Yes, but daytime, okay? By this time, you should get when you are already packed. Leave the work of the night time to security. You get it? For today, I'm going to excuse you. But don't try it again, because you will get a fire, I swear. Enter and go. Please. Thank you.
A few minutes to 7 p.m. for a curfew, residents in Namongona started rushing up to ensure that they are indoors. The mood would clearly show that people were aware of the directives, including those riding on motorcycles. Some residents, however, could not believe that they were to occupy their houses as early as 7 p.m. and resorted to flooding the roadside. As it darkened, law enforcers started their operation. During the operation, the bold ones could face the security, whereas some would take off.
Are you listening? Wait. What are you doing here? Can you enter?
What was not clear henceforth is that whether one was required to be indoors or could even still remain outside, just like this lady who was forced to close her door. The tricky aspect, however, is that people were expected to be under curfew at 7 p.m. 31st March, yet places of work like saloons, lodges and garages were to close at midnight 1st April as per the President's directive. In my findings, movements continued as people trekked from their places of work to home for those whose businesses were to close at midnight. Those with identification would be excused and left to continue with their journey. Some people were ignorant of the presidential directives, and we also came across those who were drunk.
Starting with the 31st of March 2020, at 1900 hours, which means saa moja ya usiku, there will be a curfew throughout the whole of Uganda.
Kugambye gende munanga ani akutumye
Muzeyi ulira abamu okimanyi twadde tutegedde essaawa 4 abalala ssaawa emu kitegeera ensonga lwaki
For the first time in the history of this country, government declared a 12-hour curfew across the country for 14 days as a result of a disease outbreak. Not just any outbreak, but a pandemic.
Day 2. After the recent announcement of lockdown over coronavirus, it is obvious the issue is not a joking subject. It is more walking, moderate bicycle and motorcycle riding, and less driving. It is an impactful directive that has been felt everywhere, including here at Nigeria, just at the border between Kampala and Wakiso districts.
Sirabangako Nigeria bukyana katuukayo ng'ekkubo liri bwe lityo lirimu abantu bokka. Jamu ebeera wano okuva ntuuka Ntinda omala almost 1 hour ng'oli mu taxi. Naye bukyanga amasomero gakagabwa taxi ne bazigala, piki ne bazigala, ekkubo likalu.
Embeera zino tuyisiza bubi waka kyakora transport tugenda ku bigero tutuuke ku mirimo tugenda wala kati nkange ngenda eri kyarwajjara tubangenda kutuukayo ssaawa mmeka.
Prevention is better than cure is quite a very old and common adage, which is clearly visible in Uganda with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas the adopted preventive measures could be inconveniencing, they are worth it.
Embeera eno etuyisiza bubi naye ate ku lw'obulamu obuliwo mu nsi endala tulina okikiriza ne tukigumira ke tufunye ne tukasharinga ne baffe ne bannaffe ku lw'obulamu. Bw'owulira abantu 8 bafa mu lunaku lumu olina okukola kye bakugamba.
The roads are clear, obviously showing nothing serious going on, following recent presidential directives over coronavirus. But like the saying goes, where there is a problem, there is always an opportunity. This middle-aged man has taken advantage of the situation.
What makes me move is my daughter this morning to exercise her legs. When she was 4, she developed what is called toxoplasmosis, which affects part of the brain for the speech and walking. So I have to take her for a walk to try and get back things to normal.
It is something he has been doing only during weekends for his daughter, who goes to Cambridge International School. But with the closure of schools and public roads, he has taken advantage of weekdays.
The road is free and it's a holiday today. They are not going to school. Besides, because of the corona, no one is going to school.
If only this girl was in school. Unfortunately for now, she cannot because of the COVID-19, which has spread like wildfire across the world. It is a pandemic which calls on all responsible stakeholders to come on board, including the general public.
We can beat this pandemic together as long as we continue keeping social distance. And we must also remember that the virus does not spread itself. It is us, the people, who spread it. So to say, at home, let's stay at home.
But I want to inform the communities that winning this battle is in their hands. Winning this battle is in individual hands. We can only give measures. The president will give directives. We give measures to be undertaken. Each individual must undertake to adhere to the rules.
As of now, Uganda is home to 44 confirmed patients of COVID-19 pandemic. The number increased by 11 on Tuesday, following the testing positive of junior church choir members of Watoto Church.
Gulu municipality was for most of the day deserted, with very few people stepping in to conduct their daily activities. But as the day progressed, the streets came to life, with people rushing for last-minute shopping. As the numbers of shoppers increased, police led by the district commander Emmanuel Mafundo stepped in and ordered people to close their shops, salon and some restaurants, which angered the people. A shoemaker, John Bosco Riem, says people might die in their houses once they are not allowed to buy food. However, the office of the RDC insisted that people have to stay home to minimize the spread of the COVID-19.
During his 7th national address in regard to the COVID-19 outbreak, President Museveni ordered for a 12-hour curfew moment across the country with the aim of scaling down the spread of the pandemic. On Tuesday, different security agencies, led by the police, patrolled to ensure compliance of the directive requiring no movements of persons and vehicles from 7 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. The first day has been described as successful.
Most of the people by 7 p.m. were in their places of residence, which is very good. And some of those who were at places of work like factories and some of the big hotels, those ones remained there up to very early in the morning. So the objective of the curfew was met.
While updating the nation on the experience of the first day of the curfew, the police spokesperson, Fred Enanga, revealed that there were only 3 incidents, one in Wakso district involving a Serungi Vicent, a boda rider who allegedly tried to dodge lawful arrest, and as a result, he was shot at. The other 2 happened in Jinja, where 2 people were arrested for trying to forge movement permits.
So you can really see that there are people who are trying their very best to fight these guidelines that were issued. We don't see reason as to why you should force your way outside. And in the due process, there were some bullets that were released. He was shot around the buttocks area, and just to maim him, and eventually rushed to Mulago Hospital.
It is against this background that the Security Task Force has advised the public to continue exhibiting compliance and minimize friction with law enforcement officers.
You are always urged to move early. Time your movements depending on where you reside. Don't be staying very, very far and you start moving 5 minutes to 7 p.m.
That is the way to go. Please avoid breaking the law and then finding yourself where you don't wish to be.
To the essential service providers, a clarion call has been made advising them not to abuse the chance granted but ensure total compliance with the regulations put in place. Brigadier Richard Karemire, the UPDF spokesperson, categorically urged the organizations to ensure high identification standards to avoid unfriendly encounters with different security enforcement officers.
As long as you are able to identify yourself with your institutional ID, better if you also continue putting on your uniform. If you are a banker, you are encouraged to always put on your uniform.
Meanwhile, government has urged members of the diplomatic corps to respect the set guidelines in as far as the presidential directives are concerned. According to Ofono Opondo, the government spokesperson, all foreigners falling under this category are required to suspend unnecessary movements except for essential travels.
They have been granted leeway to use official diplomatic vehicles for essential travels. We don't expect them to be unreasonable to make non-essential travels. For those diplomats and members of accredited international organizations whose work permits have expired, they have been advised that they can continue to stay in Uganda and work. Those work permits will be renewable at the end of the 14 days.
Uganda has registered 44 cases of COVID-19 as of Wednesday, 1st April 2020, most of whom are said to have come from other countries, including United Arab Emirates and USA, among others.